everyone. Welcome back. I am Sandra. I have two of my regular guests, Lisa here and Carolyn. Yay. We are all moms of someone who has a substance use disorder. And today we are going to try to stay on topic. And I want, I know we're going to try, I said. But really it's for those people that haven't found the support that they need. I know that there's many of you out there that are in the same shoes as us, where you love someone who has an addiction problem. So I thought maybe today we would address, like, what insane things have you or have done over the years before you found a support group, and was that your rock bottom? And also maybe some words of wisdom that you can share with others that are struggling. So Lisa, can you share with us something that has led you to your rock bottom, or something that you think is insane that you've done?
So I think probably, so first of all, I'm a mother of two sons. I want to say children, but they're men. But both my sons have a substance use disorder. Both are in recovery right now. One is over 5 years, and the other one is coming up on 2, which is exciting. So the things that I did that was insane was that I gave them money. Like, that's not, I know there's a lot of other things. I would give them money, never give them cash, because I figured, well, they'll buy drugs. But I would do other things, like buy things for my son's apartment to make him happier, pay off credit card debt, pay substantial money for legal fees when, you know, he was facing an issue, because I believed in him and I wasn't aware of the extent of the addiction.
And I just want to interject, because some of them are thinking, oh, well, that's not really enabling if you don't give cash. But there is the other flip side. You're paying for something that they may be able to pay for themselves.
Right. And that's how I justified it, because I wasn't giving them cash. If I was buying groceries, and I would manipulate them by giving them things in order to get what I wanted, so that I would get a chance to see them and just lay my eyes on them.
Yeah.
But what brought me to the group, because I put it off for a long time.
Yeah.
Not coming, because I thought it was religious based. I'm not a religious person. I felt like that would be sort of forcing me to be religious, and I'm not. But I was very grateful that when I felt my rock bottom, as you say, is when I was told I could never see my grandchildren, and they were taken away from me, and I thought, okay, physically I wasn't doing well, my blood pressure was high, I had to go on meds for that, diabetes, having all kinds of problems, so I thought I need to call my EAP program to get some help. But I also looked up Nar-Anon. I was familiar with it through, my son was doing a 12-step program, so he taught me that, and I thought, well, I've got to try it. And I was so relieved. After the first meeting, I knew it was going to be right for me, because it wasn't religious-based. It truly is a spiritual program.
Right.
The word God and the concept of God as a hymn is certainly throughout a lot of the readings, but that doesn't mean necessarily God in the biblical sense. It's higher power, and when I was told that my higher power could even be a doorknob, that I thought I could get my head around. Perfect. And that was really helpful for me. So.
That's awesome, and that's a big takeaway, because a lot of people that hear of 12-step programs, a lot of people may have that sense that it's religious, and it's not religious. And yeah, higher power could be your doorknob. And I've met people where higher power is the people in the meeting, or trees outside. Yeah. So for those that are considering a 12-step program like Nar-Anon as a loved one, it's not religious, and that's huge.
And don't be afraid. And don't be afraid, because there's somebody in the room that would be doing or experiencing the exact same thing.
And you're not alone.
No.
We feel you. We feel you. Carolyn, has there been insanity in your life pre-Nar-Anon that you'd like to share?
There's been a lot of insanity.
Yeah.
I guess two of the things that stand out most for me is when my daughter was in active addiction and living on the streets. There was one night, I don't know, it was about 11:15. It was a Friday night, and she called me in tears and said, "Mom, come and get me." And without even thinking anything, I got dressed to head out to get her. But that wasn't so much the insane part. What was the insane part is that I'm not a fighter. I've never been in a fight. I think if somebody came at me with a knife or a gun, I would probably just roll up in a ball and cry. But I snuck out of my home where my son, who is 6'9", lives, and who is a security. He's
a protector.
Yeah, he's got his security license. And I snuck out of the house because I didn't want him knowing that I was going to rescue his sister, because I didn't want him getting mad at her. So I ended up in the back alley of the city, further north of where we live, in a back alley on a Friday night when it was dark. And with my vehicle open, anything could have happened. People were coming by me. I don't know what they were doing, or I put myself into physical danger as a result of that. The other thing is the financial strain. Lisa talked about, paying cell bills or, those sorts of things, and we could qualify that by, well, if they need to have a cell phone, I'm going to pay the bill because that's their only way of getting in touch with me, which was, kind of a standard, but the reality is that she wanted her phone bill paid so that she could phone her dealer. And never called me, but I still paid for it. But I guess the biggest one was that I decided that she needed a car that would get her to and from work safely. And if I co-signed for the car, that would mean that she would have to stay working, which would then keep her away from addicts, because she would have to work to pay the bills. That didn't work out.
And I chuckle because it's amazing how pre-Nar-Anon we think we know what they need.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm going to get you a car so you could do this, this, and this.
Yeah, and that I could control what she was doing and control the people that she was around.
And in the end?
That didn't work out either. Car got wrote off. Because I was the co-signer, I had to come up with just over $10,000 to pay back to the bank, and I was given a month to do it. So
that's a lot of money.
That was dangerous because I have a mortgage to pay on my house, and if I hadn't have come up with that money, I could have lost my own house, and I could have been living on the streets as well. So there was the financial insanity of doing something that could have resulted in me losing my home, and the physical insanity of putting myself into physical danger.
Yes, and keeping the secrets was a big one. I know that many people, and including myself, it was a secret. And when you keep it a secret, such as your situation, your son wasn't there to protect you. He could. You might do it differently this time around. If it was to happen, you have the tools. Would you keep it a secret, or would you bring your son in on it?
Oh, I would have definitely.
Right.
Now, I would definitely have brought him in on it, which kind of goes to your next question, I guess. So, would I have done the same thing? She said she wanted to get out of the situation that she was in.
Right.
So, would I, I will always support
recovery
for sure. But rest assured, I would have been bringing my 6'9" son with me. To ensure that I wasn't going to be physically maimed, because he could have protected me.
Right.
And I will never, ever, 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 ever co-sign for something more than I can afford.
Exactly.
For anybody. Yeah. Because that was dumb.
That is a really great point, because I know, and I'm sure I speak for both of you, that Nar-Anon is not only to help us deal with someone with a substance use disorder, but these tools I've used in everyday life.
Oh, sure.
Everyday life. Yeah. It's setting those boundaries for people that maybe are bringing a negative impact in our life. I'm going to wrap it up by just sharing quickly a couple of my dangerous situations that I put myself in the insanity, and one was similar to yours. Being in a dangerous place And this is when I was a private investigator looking for my son. I didn't know where he was. I thought, whoa, I think he was in this area. I see a couple of sketchy looking guys, because my son was looking sketchy at the time, going behind a dumpster, shooting up. And here I am, not 6 foot, just over 5, going back there and saying, hey, did you see my son? And, you know, anything could have happened there. That
Sure.
was total insanity on my part. Another one is a money thing. He owed a couple $100s to a dealer, and if he didn't pay it, he was gonna die. This was like desperate. I need to pay this $200 off. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, he had an account that I was holding for him that had $200. So it wasn't my money, but I will bring you to the dealer and only give you the money when I see the dealer so that you could pass it on. I thought that was the smart thing to do. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, he could be packing. I don't know. This is a dangerous situation. And it took everything in me while in the car, watching the transaction and the dealer saying, anything you want now, you're good. I almost got out of the car and said, what the F are you doing? That's my son. Stop selling him drugs. But it was enough that I actually went and I got to see who this person was. Not cool. Skip ahead. Was that my rock bottom? No. My rock bottom was actually when Ben was in the hospital, one of his overdoses. And there were a number of them. And that wasn't even a rock bottom for me. It was when they found fentanyl and morphine in his system. And I said to Ben, do you know what was in your system? And he's like, I don't know. And I told him fentanyl and morphine. And Ben's response was, oh, I thought I was doing heroin. Well, that was what the F. This is more serious than I ever thought. And to me, that was my rock bottom a number of years ago. Thankfully, I learned what addiction was. Thankfully, I found Nar-Anon. Thankfully, I have these wonderful ladies as support. I want you all to know that you are not alone. I am linking up some supports below, so if you want some help, whether you're the user or the loved one, please find the rooms.
Yeah.
Or feel free to email me, spirittoLive1111@gmail.com. And remember, ladies, where there is breath, there is hope. Peace. Take care.